Keanu Reeves noticed something one night that would change the way he looked at people forever. At first, it seemed like just another routine evening. Keanu, known for avoiding Hollywood's flash, stopped by his usual 24-hour market to pick up a few simple things. But this time, something caught his attention. An elderly employee, finishing her late shift, quietly exited through the side door with a small plastic bag in her hand. He had seen her before, always working tirelessly into the night. But tonight there was something different. The heaviness in her tired eyes, the way she clutched the bag as if it carried her whole world. For reasons he couldn't quite explain, Keanu felt his heart tighten. And instead of heading home, he decided to follow her. What he discovered would move him to tears. He moved closer, careful not to make a sound, and stopped a few feet away. Peering through the small window, his stomach dropped. Inside the trailer, 2 children lay on a thin mattress on the floor. The space was bare, just a few worn blankets and a small table. Pressed against the wall, an elderly woman reached into a plastic bag and pulled out a single piece of bread and a small container of watery soup. The children sat up quickly, their eyes shining with hunger. She smiled at them, hiding her exhaustion, and divided the food into tiny portions. There was no luxury, no comfort, just enough to keep them from going to bed hungry. That's when Keanu understood. She wasn't just returning home after a long shift. She was fighting to keep those children alive. He kept watching from the shadows. The woman sat beside them, smiling as if everything was fine. But he could see the truth in her eyes. Exhaustion, trembling fingers, and hunger she pretended didn't exist. She wasn't eating, only watching her grandchildren eat. Keanu's throat tightened. This wasn't a news story or a statistic. This was real. The woman who spent long hours cleaning and stocking shelves, always greeting customers with a polite smile, went home each night with barely enough food for her family. Keanu had donated to charities for years, supported countless causes, but this was different. The woman he saw every night at the market was sacrificing her own meal in silence, unnoticed by the world. He stepped back from the trailer, the cold air pressing heavy against his chest. That night he lay awake, haunted by the image of bread being divided and a woman pretending she was full. A single act of kindness wouldn't fix this. It wasn't just about one meal. It was about a cruel reality that should never exist. By morning, he knew he couldn't ignore it. He returned to the 24-hour market. The woman, Donna Marta, as he had overheard, wasn't there yet, but he wasn't looking for her. He wanted answers. At the counter, he asked the manager, "How long has Donna Marta been working here?" "Over 10 years, the manager replied. "One of our most reliable employees. Always on time, takes extra shifts when she can. And her pay?" Keanu pressed. "Minimum wage. Standard for part-time? Benefits? Health care?" The manager hesitated. "She doesn't qualify. Part-time employees aren't eligible." Keanu's jaw tightened. 10 years of work, yet no security, no stability, not even enough hours for benefits. He walked out of the store, the sunlight harsh, his mind replaying the night before. A woman in her later years breaking her body at work, skipping meals so her grandchildren could eat. Abandoned by a system that should have protected her. Keanu clenched his fists. This wasn't just unfair, it was unacceptable. He knew exactly what he had to do. That night, Keanu returned to the market. He didn't go inside this time, just stood under a lamppost across the street watching the entrance quietly. He didn't want to intrude or make her uneasy. He only wanted to understand. A little after midnight, the side door opened and Donna Marta stepped out. She wore the same faded green blouse hanging loosely from her frail shoulders. In her hands, the familiar small plastic bag clutched close to her chest. Keanu didn't follow. Instead, he crossed the street slowly, stopping near a vending machine. His posture was calm, casual, as if he had just happened to be there. As she passed, he spoke gently. "Good evening, Donna Marta." She froze, startled. Her weary eyes blinked up at him, taking a moment to recognize his face. "Oh, good evening, Mr. Reeves," she said politely but hesitant. Keanu smiled softly. "Please, just Keanu, I hope I'm not bothering you. I see you here often and thought it was time I introduced myself." She adjusted the bag in her hands. "That's kind of you. I've noticed you too, but I didn't want to disturb you." "You wouldn't have," Keanu reassured. "But I understand. I like my quiet time as well." A small, tired smile touched her face. Keanu glanced at the bag she carried, hesitating before speaking again. You work so late. Must be exhausting. It is, she admitted softly. But you do what you have to do. Keanu nodded, her words sinking deep. For a moment, the city's distant hum faded, leaving just the two of them under the dim streetlight. She shifted her bag again, ready to leave. Keanu chose his words carefully. I don't know much about you, he said gently. But if you ever need anything, sometimes it helps to know someone's looking out for you. She stiffened slightly, then gave a quiet, tired chuckle. That's kind of you, Keanu. Her tone was warm but guarded, like someone unused to kindness. She gave him a small nod. It was nice talking to you, but I should head home. Keanu didn't stop her. Have a good night, Donna Marta. She walked into the dark streets, and Keanu stayed there, watching her go. He hadn't asked much, hadn't pushed, but now she knew. Someone had noticed her. And deep down, he knew this wasn't the last time they'd speak. That night, lying awake, Keanu replayed their conversation. Her tired smile, the way she clutched that plastic bag, the quiet resignation in her voice when she said she did what she had to. She wasn't expecting help. She had carried everything alone for so long she no longer hoped for more. Keanu had met actors, directors, celebrities, politicians. He had seen wealth and luxury, but few people had humbled him like she did. She wasn't asking for sympathy, she was surviving. And that made his choice simple. He couldn't just walk away. The next morning he acted. Not with money shoved into her hands, he'd seen how quickly that faded, but with something lasting. Stability. A home. He spent the day quietly reaching out to people he trusted, real estate agents, community organizers, charity workers. He didn't want something grand, just something real. Hours later, he found it. A modest house in a safe neighborhood, fully furnished, close to schools. A place where Donna Marta wouldn't have to drag herself home after miles of walking. A place where she could breathe. Keanu handled everything discreetly. The house would be paid off, utilities covered, even a small trust set aside so food would never be a worry. No headlines. No cameras. Just a man who refused to look away. That evening, he returned to the market. Donna Marta stepped out with her usual plastic bag. When she saw him waiting, she gave a tired but genuine smile. Keanu, what a surprise. He smiled back. Hey, Donna Marta, got a minute? Hesitated, then nodded, of course. Keanu reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a small envelope. I don't want to overwhelm you, he said gently, but I know life has been hard and I want to help. Don Marta's smile faded slightly, replaced by a look of uncertainty. Keanu, He handed her the envelope. Just open it, he encouraged softly. With slightly trembling hands, she unfolded the paper inside. Her breath hitched. Her eyes moved over the words again and again as if trying to convince herself that it was real. Tears instantly welled up in her eyes. She covered her mouth, her whole body trembling. This is for me? She whispered. Keanu nodded. Now you have a home, Doña Marta. A real home. For a long moment she didn't move. She simply stood there, her frail hands gripping the paper, shaking with emotion. Then she burst into quiet sobs, her whole body racked with gratitude. Keanu stepped forward, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. You don't have to do it alone anymore. Doña Marta looked up at him.